to stand on a scripture in the book of Mark, chapter number 2 and verse 22. It says, "And no one puts new wine into old wineskin, for the wine would burst the wineskins, and the wine and the skins would both be lost. New wine calls for new wineskins." Let me take it up again. That "and no one puts new wine into old wineskins, for the wine would burst the wineskins, and the wine and the skins would both be lost. New wine calls for new wineskin." I'm reading from the New Living Version of the Bible. So God is doing a new thing. And if as a nation and as church and as institutions, as families, as communities, as individuals, if we don't understand what God is doing in time, then the visitation, we will miss the visitation, which will not be good for us. And I woke up desiring something. I was like, oh God, how will this message really reach the people in a general way? And at one time I felt like going to pray at the city center. At one point I felt like going to pray outside the parliament gates. And I was like, oh God, is this what you want? And why did I begin saying that I am disappointed? It is because of the systems. It is the systems I've been talking about. It is the systems. You cannot get space except you go to the road and roll on the road. Nobody can hear you. And I want to bring my disappointment, because I've tried to reach even the 4 national media houses with this cry, explaining myself to them. This is what I have. This is what I got. But, you know, in the morning I prayed and I was asking, none of them could listen. None of them could hear. None of them could give me a chance. Only one time, maybe those that have been following my page, that I got an audience with the street media. The medias of the people that are running their personal media, you know, pages. And I pray that God bless them. There's a media house, Asbest, that gave me some interview, and some other medias could have, you know, presented me in their pages, an assortment of them. The Kenya News Media, something, a friend of mine there gave me an opportunity, you know. And it is so disturbing to me how the systems are so tight. And the systems are not everywhere, are not in one place. The systems are everywhere. I've been crying for now many months, desiring for this voice to go national. But you cannot find a chance. You cannot find a chance. You know, I'm really not, I'm feeling like it's not right. The systems are too much. The systems are too tight. I wanted this message to go across. Thank you for those that are joining. I wanted the message to go across so that we know what God is doing, and so that we can align and benefit of what God is doing. It is only God that knows the end from the beginning. It's only God who knows what is happening, what is going on. And my desire to get this come out to national TV has been difficult, very difficult. And the systems need to check themselves, because if we wear systems that also block what is good, that block what would help people, that block the good of others, that block, you know, this and the other, it is not the will of God. We should lay systems that will be able to, as much as we have our benchmarks of picking and selecting, but we can sit and judge wisely, and judge what is good and what is good, so that what is of merit, we give it a chance and we front it forward. And I was saying, as we have read in the book of Mark chapter 2 and verse 22, that the new wine needs a new wineskin. That what God is doing newly, it needs a new wineskin. It needs our capacity to hold it, our capacity to live it, our capacity to do it. It needs our newness in attitude, our newness in stature, our newness in strength to carry on what God is doing. And these things had been birthed by the revolution that came forth with our young children. And those that have been following me have been posting stuff in this lane that God is doing a new thing and that we need to align. And that God is saying what we have achieved 60 years before, it has taken us this far. As a nation, it has taken us this far. As a church, it has taken us this far. But it cannot take us in the next 60 years. That is what I've been campaigning for. That is what I've been championing for. That what we have achieved at 60, it might have touched our lives here and there, but it is not able to take us 60 years from the day our young children went to the streets. It cannot. It cannot take us. Even now with the things that are going on, you can see the future is not too bright. Because we need to align with what God is doing. We need to align with the baby that is born and help the baby grow into maturity, into the future. That is what we need to do. And I said, these are not times to say it is the church, it is the government, it is the community, it is the other person, not the other person, the other person. It is not time for blame game. It is the time that we sit wherever we are in our spaces and get to know what God is doing in our spaces and align in our institutions and align. In short, he is saying the last 60 cannot take us the next 60. When he says like that, it means we need to sit and really hear in prayer, hear in beginning to act, hear in seeking his mercy and his grace and his help, so that we connect with what he is doing. This is a message I would have desired that it could be heard quite nationally, so that we hear and we get moving in the right ways, so that we are blessed as a nation. We are blessed in our places, our spaces. That is a desire that has been in my heart. Maybe some of the people in the media, they could come across this. They could reckon how I have desired to be heard, though I have not gotten an opportunity. Thank God because of technology. And I want to ask of the Lord that when this video goes across out, those who will meet it, let them pick what you desire people know, what you desire men know, so that we begin to walk in your will in this time we are living in. So I have talked about a new wine that needs a new wineskin, a new baby that needs to be nurtured in the will of God. That is what I have just begun by saying. And I have said the systems are everywhere. Let nobody point a finger at another, because when we begin blaming each other, we are going to miss what God is doing. We need to do the things of God prayerfully and seeking God and asking God, what have we done wrong? How do we go about it? Help us. That is how to do things in God's will and in God's design.